Hello, welcome to the channel, All Heroes. Bob here, and this is going to be a quick video about calling all controller experts, basically, looking for your help if you are a controller expert from way back when. There's not going to be any gameplay in this video, just to warn you beforehand. So, if you're new to the channel because of City Heroes, you won't know that I've got terrible autism. ALT, and probably some of the other as well, but autism. I'm an autoholic. I stand up, get up from a chair in the circle, and say that's what I am. And it kind of and like in the past, it's ruined games for me, literally, where I just spend so much time trying out different characters, basically not getting anywhere with them. So I'm kind of looking for some advice. I've narrowed it down. I mean, I love controllers and the idea of the controllers and the power sets and stuff. But I will be, for whatever reason, unless there's people out there who want to team up. I'm currently on Everlasting server, and that's the one I've settled on. I think it's quite a new one, but all the servers seem quite balanced now, so there's not too many people. There aren't queues currently, which is good. Certainly, well, not when I'm playing anyway. So let's get into this. Yeah, terrible autoholic. It's ruined MMOs for me in the past. I don't want it to happen again. Now that I'm playing now that we're able to play City of Heroes again. There are a few things that I want to try out, but essentially I'm kind of looking for some advice. So I guess the best thing is to start off with because of a game like this, I think themes are important. And so I've come up with some themes that I like, but I'm not 100% sure how viable they are for someone who might be playing solo and wants to do everything they can, even if they're playing solo. So my character themes basically. I mean, one of the ones that I've been mucking around with and I do like is I like the mind theme. I like using my mind to deal damage and get my opponents to do what I want them to do. And the other thing that I kind of have been pairing it with is time, because I kind of like the whole I can't think of anything else here that fits with kinetics. Not really. I can't think of anything else that kind of fits with mind particularly well, but mind time seemed like quite a good thing to me. But the thing I'm finding here is that when most people talk about soloing controllers, pets seem quite important, it seems, and mind. I don't think the secondary actually has. I don't think any of them have. Maybe Darkness does. Dark Servant, yeah, but there aren't too many pets within the secondaries bit, so it's all in the primary. Mine doesn't have pets, but it kind of turns your opponents into your pets. But from what I can gather, you don't get damage when using mass hypnosis, for example, or what is it? Dominate? No, confuse. It's confuse, mass hypnosis. That puts them to sleep. Terrify, mass confusion. Oh, so confusion and mass confusion turn either a single enemy or a group of enemies against each other, basically. But I think that when they do damage, if they do too much damage to each other, they don't. You don't get the XP for it. Which I guess in an MMO where maybe your XP comes from quests, I'm not too sure. That seems like it might be a problem. When you go to time, I was looking at like the last few, like the biggest abilities from time. You've got Farsight, which is an ally-based one. Slowed response. Slow and sluggish. Yeah, that's a debuff, which is fine. But then Chronoshift seems again an allies. So if I'm soloing, seems to be a couple of big big abilities in time, which not really going to do much for me. If I had pets, it would, but using, I'm not sure if you can mass confuse a group and then use these ally buffs on them. But then that might just mean the fact you get less XP, you know, because you're doing because the confused enemies are doing more damage. So mind control and time is something I've been mucking around with. I haven't really thought of pairing anything else with mind. So if you've got any idea, there are some that I just don't. I think the problem is I'm not a huge fan of a lot of these secondaries, to be honest. Some of them I like because they pair up with other things, but I'm not a massive fan generally. But let's go back to the main ones first of all. So mind is something that I like. Gravity I like because I like the idea of the lifting. There's a great skill, I think it's propel, where like a heavy object just appears out of nowhere and it slams into your enemy. So I quite like that. Singularity. Powers. Okay. So singularity seems as though it's not a pet, but seems as though it's something that sits there and does stuff. Wormhole. Okay. So flying around the wormhole. Okay. So gravity, I do like looks of gravity. It seems quite interesting. I did muck around with it back on live in the day. I wonder if you can do like wormhole and have a singularity behind it, so you're kind of hurling them backwards and forwards. That might be quite interesting. Gravity distortion field. Okay, yeah. So that's got some single target damage, and some, you know, it seems to have a fair amount of crowd control there. I imagine in a group some of these abilities that make enemies, you know, get pushed away might be quite annoying. So gravity was something that seemed quite interesting. I'm not quite sure what I would team it with. Reading through them, radiation seems quite good to me because I think the thing that you're looking for in a secondary is to debuff the enemy quite a lot. I think so. You know, reducing attack rate, attack. What do they call it? Yeah, attack speed. Reducing movement, I guess, could be quite important. Reducing damage. So debuffing your enemy and buffing your allies, but again, that seems to require pets to be effective. Massive pulse rate. Okay, so there's a fair amount of debuffing going on here. Maybe not a huge amount of damage. Yeah, there's hardly any damage at all, actually. So again, like for radiation, to use radiation, I would assume that you probably need to have something here doing damage. Gravity doesn't look like it does a huge amount of damage. But gravity was something else I quite like the looks of. There's three others that I like the looks of. Dark I've mucked around with, and they seem to have a couple of pets. Illusion looks a lot of fun from a theme point of view. Yeah, and this seems quite pet based actually, which is quite good. Phantom Army, Spectral Terror, Phantasm. So that would lean more into then choosing a secondary that will support my pets, whatever that may be. Plants seem quite fun as well. Again, there seem to be some pets. Plant, I kind of like the theme. It's a bit not shaman-y, I guess it's a bit druid-y. And you've got like nature or poison that might that might buff debuff. I think nature's mostly healing actually. The other one was darkness. I've kind of got a darkness guy, which I quite like. But yeah, so I guess kind of, I know most people will always say choose fire because I think fire is one of the highest damage controllers, particularly when you get fire imps. But I'm just not feeling it really. You know, it's like I think mind, illusion, plant, and kind of gravity with maybe darkness have been the ones that I've been quite interested in. But Yeah, to me it seems to be like mine's weird because quite a number of the things I want to pair it with just don't seem to work. Again, time I think would work with a primary that's got pets. Radiation I quite like, but again I wonder if that would be more support for pets. Poison again I'm not sure. Nature I think it's mostly healing. Kinetics, force field. So I'm certainly, you know, if you're an expert controller and you've extensively mucked around with any of these powers, then yeah, I mean, drop us a message or a PM or whatever you want to do, or leave a comment on the a comment on the video. That would be much appreciated. I imagine I'll probably muck around with a number of controllers, but what I want to do, something that I don't do and haven't done, is I'd like to, you know, take one to max first and enjoy that, and that kind of fits my criteria, and then move on from there. I think looking at illusion, I mean, I imagine group invisibility is kind of probably wasted. Superior invisibility is probably quite good to sneak past enemies and stuff. Flash, that's a point blank area effect. Deceive, and so it's also got an ability to use one of your to turn one of your enemies against its friends. Damage moderate, damage high, illusionary damage. Okay, so it's got a couple of damages early on and a deceive. I imagine it's not until you get your pets where the damage starts ramping up. I would guess, and I'm wondering if pairing that with, I don't know actually, maybe time, poison, or radiation for buffs and debuffs, and some healing. That might be quite interesting. Anyway, yeah, let me know of your experiences. I quite like plant sounds fun as well. I like the idea of having a Venus flytrap. I imagine it's stationary, but you just chuck it in amongst a load of enemies, and it might be quite fun. Yeah, or illusion with the pets. It does seem as though pets are quite good. I imagine you can solo with any of them. You know, it's just slower, but yeah, but the mind time combination just seem to work against each other. I just think that there are a number of abilities here that, unless you've got allies or pets, are just not really working for you, maybe. Anyway, that's it. I'm just looking for expert controllers, or controllers, you know, experienced controllers who have mucked around with these things and can maybe just give me some feedback on what they think, what might be some good pairings and stuff. I mean, you can kind of, you know, in theory, you can look at these things and work it out yourself, can't you? Like pets, and then a secondary that buffs pets and debuffs your opponent. Seems pretty logical. Mind, I quite like the idea of mass confusing them and they all fight against each other, but then I quite like the mind time theme, but it just doesn't seem to work. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, that's it. If you've got any opinions on controllers, will be much appreciated. Thanks for watching.